At the end of September, a Discord user hacked into an employee's computer at a large company and stole the information of 500,000 customers. Full name, email, billing address, credit card expiration date, all put up for sale. But who is this company, and how did the hacker pull this off? Well, according to the company, it involves a very sophisticated scam. Shadow. Shadow is the name of the business that got compromised in this data breach. Now, Shadow is a cloud computing platform that allows you to pay a monthly subscription fee for a computer in the cloud. Now, you can use this computer for a multitude of things, whether it be running simple Excel spreadsheets or upgrading to something that allows you to use video editing software, all in the cloud. But you don't need to use this computer just for professional purposes. In fact, Shadow also has another branch that involves gaming. You can have a gaming computer in the cloud, just like NVIDIA GeForce Now or Google Stadia, which is dead. And of course, as with any business, if you want to make a whole bunch of money, you need to cater to the enterprise crowd, where you can just literally print money. Now, if you haven't heard of Shadow before, you might be asking, how popular is Shadow? Well, believe it or not, they're actually pretty big. In fact, they sponsored an LTT video, which is the first time I've heard of them. And of course, video sponsors cost a whole bunch of cheddar. But we also know from the data breach that Shadow had over 500,000 paying customers. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into that data breach. So anyone that was affected by the data breach was sent an email by Shadow. And what information was exposed in this data breach? Well, in the email it said, the information concerned is your first and last name, email address, date of birth, billing address, which, you know, could be your home address, and credit card expiration date. And they make it extremely clear not to worry, because it's important to note that no passwords or sensitive banking data has been compromised. But your address has. Yeah, that puts me at ease big time. Now, this information is actually quite dangerous, because first, they have your address, but this information, your first name, your last name, your email, can be matched with past and future data breaches to build a more sophisticated attack against you. And if you've been involved in this data breach, it's a very good idea to just keep an eye on your credit score. Now, the funny thing about this data breach is that it has the Shadow PC community divided. And one thing I am genuinely concerned about is people like to brush this under the rug. My stuff has already been sold and yours probably has been sold already from other leaks. I think the only leak my information hasn't been in at this point was the Ashley Madison one. I'll be fine. And there are multiple people with this mindset that this is just another data breach, and this is a very bad mindset. But I want to make it clear that these people are under the pretenses that this hack was sophisticated. So, how did this Discord hacker do it? Well, in the email, Shadow gives us a little bit of information. At the end of September, we were victim of a social engineering attack. They called it highly sophisticated. This Discord hacker must have some serious skills. You know, if a big company like Shadow that does cloud computing, which is like wizard science to me, if they say it's a sophisticated attack, then you kind of get hopeless, and I understand all the Reddit comments now. But wait, this email gives us a little bit more details. This highly sophisticated attack began on the Discord platform with the downloading of malware under cover of a game on the Steam platform. And I just realized something. This sounds exactly like a scam that I am extremely familiar with. What will happen is that you will get a DM from one of your friends or maybe some random person on Discord asking you to try out their game or to download a beta version of an upcoming game. Now, they might send you this file directly, or they might send you to a website like this. This is the game for Anodons, Autobots, whatever. But the thing with these types of games is that they usually try to impersonate another game. And the easiest way to figure it out is just right-click on an image, search image with Google, and it turns out this game is actually called Song of Iron. But on this website, if you scroll down far enough, there will be a download link to a zip or a RAR file. Now, when you download this RAR file, oh god, spoiler alert, inside of this RAR file is the game, and it's an exe file with a hidden trick up its sleeve. When you open up this game on your computer, nothing happens. The game must be broken. But in the background, everything bad is happening. In fact, if you run this file through a malware analysis tool like Triage, you will see that the game is in fact a stealer. Now, what an info stealer does is it looks inside of your computer for saved browser data, which is your username, your passwords, your payment information, and it'll take your cookies. And I want to make it clear that this type of malware is something that is extremely common. For example, Redline Stealer is a piece of malware that you can actually just buy. Any low ethical moron can just buy this malware and use it to hack anyone. This stuff is extremely common, and this specific download my game scam, it is far from sophisticated. In Shadow's email, they were lying to you. Falling for this scam is moronic. And this data breach that you had to experience if you were a Shadow customer was extremely preventable. And how preventable was this? Well, according to the email that Shadow sent you, straight from the horse's mouth, the hacker gained access to the computer's cookies to extract customer information through the API. And this means that an employee was trying to download a game from Discord card on their work computer. And Shadow, like any other big company, should never have stuff like this happen. There must always be protections in place. I talked to a couple of my friends that do exist, and they have real jobs unlike me, and when they go to work, they always have to log into their work VPN, and they can't download anything on their work computers. And it's because the company doesn't want some random moron to download malware and blow up the company. And especially since Shadow is a cloud computing company, you would assume that they would have these systems in place already to prevent this. But no, Shadow is dumb. In fact, I was digging a little bit into Shadow and things get even worse. Back on March 10th of 2021, it turns out there's been another blow for cloud gaming this week as Blade, the company behind the service Shadow, has filed for bankruptcy in the US. And how did they become bankrupt? Well, the company said that they became a victim of its own success. Success isn't hemorrhaging money, my guy. What are you smoking? If you pay for Shadow or you know anyone else that does, tell them to cancel their subscription. Run away from this company as fast as humanly possible. Because they've screwed you in 3 ways. 1, they went bankrupt because of their own success. They don't take accountability. 2, they suffered a completely amateur data breach beyond moronic. And 3, they lied to you in their own email saying that this was a sophisticated attack. This download my game hack is about as sophisticated as making a grilled cheese sandwich in the microwave. It's not sophisticated. You don't download random exe files. I thought I was worrying about kids downloading these files. No, it's companies. Now, since I've made it extremely clear that companies don't know what they're doing, it's a pretty good idea to protect yourself from data breaches, and there are 3 things that you should look out for. 1, always try using different emails for different things. You can start off basic by just having 2 emails. Have one email for your very personal stuff, like your bank, your bills, and government stuff. And then have another email for all the rest of the crap. But if you want a more robust system, you could also get something like Proton Mail, where they allow you to have multiple email addresses and multiple aliases. If that sounds too complicated, you could always go the iCloud Plus route with iOS's Hide My Email, which makes it idiot-proof to do this. Or if you have your own domain and you're a little bit of a nerd, and it's actually not that hard, I managed to do this, you can use Cloudflare's email routing. It's actually just fun to do. But use one of these systems to change up your email for every single service. But then, with this data breach, it also talked about credit card numbers, and I highly advise you, if you can, unfortunately in Canada you can't do this, but if you're in the US, which most of you are, you can use a service like privacy.com, which allows you to have virtual credit cards for every single service, which really minimizes the risk of these data breaches to you personally. And finally, if some sort of sign-up form asks for your date of birth and it's not bank, bills, or government, just make a birthday up. Does Discord really need to know your exact birthday? No, they just want to make sure you're older than 13. Anyways, gamers, that's how a Discord scammer managed to hack a company with the most basic scam on the planet. Shadow should be completely ashamed of themselves, and you should run away from that service if you pay for it. Anywho, bye-bye, I love you.